Hello to another week of Facebook Live. I just want to deeply say I am so beyond grateful and so beyond blessed at the feedback I got from last week and the messages that come through from people. I really appreciate it. As I said, it's been a big push for me to actually do this because technology is not my most happiness place. Yeah, I'm happy to be doing this because it's what the spirit world wants me to do as well, to be able to help people. So I just wanted to shout out and say a beautiful thank you, and I'm really excited to be doing this for you weekly, and I'm just so happy. So let's get into it. Thank you for everyone that actually sent me emails. Hey Jen, sent me emails, and people also sent me personal PM messages. I have replied to a few of them, and through the emails, I've actually received some more questions. So that is where I'm actually going to start. Hey Bernetta. So let's have a look at this. One thing I wanted to check in was with Danielle. Danielle, can you give me some feedback, whether via email or via here, comments, whatever works for you, just to let me know how you went with the house cleanser we were talking about last week that I emailed you about. I'm just really curious if everything's settled down and how your son's going. So if you could reach out to me and let me know, that'd be fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to start with Brooke. Brooke sent me an email. Hi, Nick. Brooke sent me an email, and she would like to know what I see for her love life. There's a few questions here. Oh, thank you, Brooke, for the birthday. Happy birthday for last week. I had a fantastic day. Let me have a look in and see what I can see for your love life. So this is aimed towards Brooke. I feel like, Brooke, there's an element there with I feel like there is somebody coming for you, but I also feel like there's an element there that there's something still with the love thing that it seems to be that you're pushing that away. So I'm wondering if there's still an emotional connection or tie to love, or what you think love looks like, because it feels like there's some kind of a push. As much as you want it and you want to attract it to you, it still feels like there's a little bit of a push away, so you're pushing the love away. To me usually that indicates that there's an issue with receiving. I can see that there's been hurt and stuff there before, and there's also an element of trusting that love. It's also trusting. It's okay. So it's trusting yourself that you can actually choose the right person to actually love and allow somebody to love you. I do see somebody coming. The best way to work through learning how to receive and that love thing. What's going to be the best way for you? Oh, really interesting. Okay, so this is aimed towards Brooke. Brooke, I would actually recommend popping a pillow in front of you, and you sit on one pillow and you're facing the other pillow, and I want you to put what your mind tells you what love looks like. So whatever, like if you to close your eyes and tune into love, and ask what love looks like, what your mind's showing you what love looks like, and then project that love out onto the pillow in front of you. And then ask her questions of like, what is it that I'm actually rejecting it? What is it that I need to do in order to be able to receive more love? What is it that you need to know in order to actually get the love that I want and desire? And actually allow that love part to talk to you back, because it feels like that's going to help you actually work through the resistance of love. But when it comes for your love life, yeah, I definitely see somebody coming. I see a gentleman that feels like he's really genuinely gentle, yet I feel like because he's so genuinely gentle, it feels like you might reject him a little bit. So working through the love part, you'll actually know when this guy comes along, because I said it just feels like he's going to be really gentle. And quite often when we're rejecting the love thing, we don't realize it's right in front of our faces. But I don't think it's going to be for very long. As in, I don't think this is going to be very long until you meet him or he's actually in your life. But just be aware that when you reject that love, or there's an element of emotional stuff in that space, rejecting love, we tend to repel what we like as good, or what we think is too good to be true, or we reject the good stuff. So just have a look into the love thing. Let me know how that relates, if that resonates with you, and how that relates for you. And your next question is, can I see anything health related? When I look into your system, it feels like to me like there's like a bowel, like having trouble pooping or something, or your tummy gets upset, or there's digestion issues or something like that with it when it comes to the tummy. I don't believe it's like anything majorly bad, or I can't see anything like a major sickness or anything in there. It just feels like things are not flowing the way you need to. I wouldn't be surprised if you're getting like sore legs and stuff like that too. That tends to, it feels like look, when I look into your legs, it feels like the sciatic's out or something in the legs. That can cause like your feet to get really cold. You can get pains in the bum cheek as well if your sciatics are out. But it just feels like, I know, it's like a digestion thing. It's like a pooping digestion thing. But I also think that that's something that's actually going to clear up when you actually work out this resistance to love thing. Because quite often when we're resisting to love, we actually look at on the outside, but really it's actually resisting loving yourself, which also means popping the right foods in your body, popping or doing what you need to be doing for your body, you know, enough water, enough sleep, all that kind of stuff. I feel like it's very intertwined and related to each other. So give the pillow one thing a go. I do see a man coming. As I said, we don't want to reject him because he's actually going to be a really nice man. And health related, I don't see anything bad. I just feel like your body's just not working the way it should. I realized I didn't introduce myself. Hi, I'm Julie. For the people that know me, hello. For the ones that don't, yay, I'm welcoming you to this space. I work as an intuitive psychic medium, so I don't use the cards to do a reading. I listen to what they've got to say to me. It tends to be what you need to know, not always what you want to know. And we go with what they're guiding me to give you guidance on. I love what I do. I love working with the spiritual world. They can be a bit full on sometimes, and we have our little arguments. And I have my little tanties at them every now and then, but we do work pretty well together. And as I said, I'm really excited to be bringing this to you each week. So Brooke, I hope that was really helped. You can send me an email, or you can comment, or and let me know how that's resonated with you. And if you need any help, as I said, just reach out. So let's have a look. I've done those two. So let's have a look at Catherine. Catherine sent me an email. She's asked if she will get engaged soon. I would like to ask Catherine a few other questions as well as not just answering that question. My question would be to ask her, is it your true choice? So sometimes we can get to a point where we want to be engaged and we want to have our lives move forward, especially for women when our biological clock's going bing, 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 and we want babies and we want all that space. Yet sometimes it's not actually a true choice to actually be in a relationship with the person you're in. I'm not saying the relationship's bad. I'm just feeling that there's been some kind of tension and stuff lately. I'm not sure if there's finances stuff issue there, but it just feels like there's tension and a little bit of pressure in the relationship lately, and I think that's contributing to not going ahead and actually doing the engagement and the marriage thing. Yet I'm asking you, is it your true choice that you really want to be engaged? Because sometimes we can really want something and it's not actually what we should be going for. So I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm just popping into my head to ask you that question. Is this your true choice to be engaged? I go with what my gut, I go with what they're telling me. Yet I do feel that there will be an engagement. But I'm asking you to question yourself, is this actually a true choice that you're actually wanting to be engaged to this person? Is this really what you truly want, and what you truly desire? Yet I feel like after whatever this financial thing is, whatever this tensiony thing is that's been going on, I feel like after that passes, or moves through, it feels like there's going to be more of what you desire coming out of it. So yeah, I do see it, but I just question it a little bit, like as in, is it your true choice? Is it really what you want? And is it really what you want? Oh, the other question is that popping into my head is, what is it that you really, because, okay, thank you, fart, brain fart, brain fart sometimes. So my question is sometimes we get this image of what we want, yet we're not looking at the bigger picture. So we look at the beautiful fairy tale of the engagement, we look at the beautiful fairy tale of the marriage, or of the wedding, and how all the wedding's going to go, and how you'd like your wedding, and how you're going to have in the wedding, and what you're going to do, and all that kind of stuff. Yet it's really not about the engagement, it's really not about the actual wedding, it's actually about the marriage. Because after the engagement, after the wedding, after the honeymoon, after that time, you're choosing to spend the rest of your life with this person. And that's what you need to look at. You need to look at the marriage, not so much the wedding or the engagement. Yeah. So when you're asking yourself the deep questions, it can be a bit scary sometimes to ask, the deep questions, because it's not always what you want to know, and it's not always what you want to deal with. But I do see an engagement, and oh my God, I wish you so much luck and happiness. As I said, I've got that feeling that there's that potential there, that the marriage can be fantastic as well. I just think the shift of focus needs to be on the actual marriage side of things, as opposed to just the wedding side of things. Everyone can hear me, yeah? Everyone that's on, can you send me a message just to let me know that you can hear me okay? That'd be fantastic. I don't want to be talking and I'm muted. So if anyone's out there, if you can send me a quick message, that'd be fantastic, just to let me know that you can hear me nice and easily. Okay. I'm going to go to a message that I received over here. So Tara sent me a message. She's loving the Q&A, so thank you, Tara. So her dog Rupert, since we spoke last time, has been doing really well, but since her mum's come back, he's being really naughty again, and she wants to know if she should do another sage on the house. Can't believe the craziness of the world at the moment. I've been getting so much bad news this week, not sure why the universe is throwing us. I think it's supposed to be the word S-H-I-T. I've spoken to Tara before about her puppy dog Rupert. Rupert is very attuned to the spiritual world. He's very on with seeing guides and angels and stuff like that on the other side. And if he sees guides walking with people that he doesn't like, he's going to get naughty and not like it. And I've said for a while, the guides that walk with your mum, he doesn't like him. He just doesn't like him. He doesn't. I can hear the fact too that they don't like him. Like, they don't like dogs. The spiritual world have the right to not like animals as well. But it feels like it's a little bit of a, he doesn't like them and they don't like him. And that's why he's acting up, because he's trying to get your attention that he doesn't like it. You can't get rid of your mum. you live with your mum, so you can't get rid of your mum. So yeah, I'd sage the house. I'd be doing things like, I'd be giving Rupert his own bubble, so he feels protected in his space, in his own bubble space. That tends to calm animals and stuff down as well, so they're not being so irritated by the spiritual world as well. With the guides that walk with your mum, it feels to me as though they need to be with her for the moment, because she is going through a lot of changes and upheaval and a lot of different changes. So they're going to need to be with her, but you'll know the guide changeover when Rupert's settled down, when mum's home. The craziness of in the world, yeah, totally. It's very, very crazy at the moment. It is designed to for a reason. Like with anything in this world, unless it's major, major stuff that's happening, nothing changes. So the universe has gotten to the point where we needed to actually have major changes in order for people to awaken up, and the changes that have also happened have actually allowed the universe to actually waken up, and wake up the earth a lot more. So therefore we need to be at a higher vibration, because the vibrations that are coming in are also at a higher vibration. So you've just got to keep going and keeping your vibrations high. When you allow yourself to get involved with the crap and the shit of the world, you're going to go down into that vibration of the crap and the shit, and that's not going to help you. It's really important to make sure that you're keeping your vibrations high. Also, making sure that you're grounded into the earth actually really helps process through and work through the energies that are actually going on in the world at the moment. The full moon that's just been was a very big one. It's a lot of eclipses, a lot of energy. It's still, that energy is still hanging around, and it's going to keep hanging around because it has to move and shake us into the vibration and the energy that we actually need to be in, because the way we were doing it wasn't working. So Tara, I hope that helps. Yeah, give the house a big sage. I'd actually check the gridding and stuff too in the house. I'm not sure if the gridding is it correct. You're going to be saging your house or your business a lot more if your gridding's not in. So I'd actually be checking the gridding in your house too, Tara, because that's not going to be helping Rupert with wanderers and things coming in. So now I'm going to look at the email that I got sent by Desiree. It's a long time, yes, since we've seen each other. More than happy to help you out with some guidance. She says, the last few years I've had some large changes. I'm in a bit of a funk and was starting to make positive changes before COVID-19, but I feel like I've fallen back into a funk and not sure what to do about it. I've lost my creative spark, overall feel shit and uninspired. I love when people are just honest. I feel like shit. Creative funk. So a lot of our creativity is actually also linked to our sexuality. Yes, I'm talking about sexuality stuff. So whenever we've actually locked down our sexuality space or our sacral space, that can actually block and stop our creativity as well. And it's also the other side too, that if we're not being creative, our sacral and our sexuality side can actually stop as well. So working out ways to connect back into yourself and to work out ways to subtly feel and enjoy the pleasure of being in your body again, even if that's like putting some music on, some candles, and actually enjoying breath work and just a very light touch, can actually connect back into your sexuality and your creativity. Quite often when we're losing our funk as well, it can be the fact that with everything in the world there has to be a balance. So there's a balance of action of the masculine that's doing, of like doing and getting and going and making things happen and go 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 go, but there's also the action of the feminine to actually allow yourself to stop, to relax, to enjoy your Netflix day, to go for a walk in nature, in order to connect back into that flow. So it just feels to me that you've actually lost the flow of who you are. I mean, COVID-19 has thrown a lot of people's routines out, which I think is kind of cool, because it actually shows you what to be grateful for, and it also shows you what's not working. And clearly allowing yourself to go into a funk doesn't work. So I'm also questioning, what have you not been doing to support yourself that's put you into more of a funk? So I know that if I don't get enough sleep, I can be a crabby pain in the bum, and not very user friendly. But sleep is a spiritual practice as well, and if I'm not getting enough sleep, I don't have the reserves to look after myself, and I don't have the reserves to look after anybody else. So my question, as I said, would be to looking at, what have you stopped doing that supports yourself to keep yourself creative and connecting in with yourself? The other thing is too is when we've had a lot of changes in our lives, quite often we can get stuck in the changes energy, instead of actually looking at what our true desire is and where we want to go and what we want. We can get stuck in just the changes bit, and we can get stuck in the sitting in the repeating of what the changes are and what ifs, and if I did this differently, and what happens if that differently, and if this didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened. And we're not actually going into a creative space of like, what is it that I truly desire? What is it that I truly want? What is it that's my true choice that I want? And then going for that. Okay. I feel like there's a few elements in there. The other question she also said, she goes, my son has ADHD, and I believe some of the underlying and some brain fart and some other underlying health issues. I would love some guidance on where to get him positive help. Um, well, to be truth, I don't know a lot about ADHD and what resources are out there. I do know that there's fantastic resources out there. I have had friends and stuff that have got children with ADHD. It's just not my specialty or my area. I do know with children with ADHD, you've got to do things a lot slower. So the way you give directions needs to be a lot slower. How you speak needs to be a lot slower. You actually need to have their attention first before you speak to them, because they're very highly intelligent people, like really highly intelligent people. It's just their brain works a little bit differently. I would suggest reach out to some Facebook groups with ADHD and actually pop into those Facebook groups and actually ask some questions. With any Facebook group, you know that there's always the haters, but there's always people there that are actually going to love you and actually really support you and help you. So I'd actually suggest looking at Facebook, ADHD Facebook groups, and reaching out to there, and I'm sure somebody will be able to help you. But I do know that you have to go really slow, saying one thing at a time, get their focus, and actually grab their attention, but saying it really, really slowly, and only one instruction at a time, because their brain farts and it's just too much for them. So I hope that helps. So Desiree, it is time to find your connection to yourself. It's time to work out a space, and I know sometimes I've had 5 children under 5. I know it's very challenging sometimes to get space to yourself, yet you have to find a way to get that space to yourself. Otherwise you end up going crazy, basically, and you want to sit in the corner and rock. Been there, done that. Yet working out a routine each day where you just get something for you. I know I used to escape to the toilet, and just sit on the toilet and actually do some breath work and actually feel into myself, because it was the only space where I could go, I'm in here, leave me alone. Doesn't matter now though, because my children just come in anyway. But when they were young, that was my space time out. So really recommend finding a time and a space where you can actually have something to you, and that'll actually start helping you get out the funk, as well as I said, what is it that you desire, what is your next right move, and what is your true choice. I hope that helps, Desiree. Let me have a look and see. Okay, so I've done Tara, I've done Desiree. So I just love to say too that I'm really glad you're loving these, because I've actually enjoyed doing it for you. So Kat sent me an email and she sends me a big squishy hug, and I sent her a big squishy hug back. It has been way too long since we've actually caught up. I hope everything in life has gotten a little bit more settled for you. I know last time we spoke everything was kind of moving and changing, and it was pretty full on to go through, so I hope everything's actually settled down for you. So Kat asked me the question, how do I correctly bring in help from either my guides or angels again? Also, whom am I needing to bring in at the moment? Okay, so like the human world, we have good people and we have bad people. It's exactly the same in the spiritual world. We have pains in the ass, good people, spirits, and we have pains in the ass. We have pains in the ass, bad spirits, and we have really like fantastic ones on the other side that are there to help us. It's the same with the angels. The angels are fantastic. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up too, you can call in an angel for anything you're needing. Okay, there's enough out there, and they're waiting for you to actually ask for the help. So when you ask for help from an angel to for whatever you need, whether it's driving, whether it's computer stuff, whether it's home stuff, whether it's children stuff, whether it's protection, whatever it is, you can ask for an angel to come and actually be with you for that. So angels are fantastic, yet angels have got a different job description is probably the best way of putting it, than guides. So guides tend to be people that have lived and crossed over. Some of them have hung around for years and years and years, and ions on ions. Other ones are just new to the space. One of the biggest things that I drum into everybody, anytime we have a course, I drum it in, drum it in, drum it in. Anytime you're doing reading, anytime you're doing healings, anytime you're working with the spiritual world, you must have your space cleansed and gridded so it is protected. Because if you don't, what happens is you get other ones coming in. They will give you misinformation. They will also be a pain in the ass and annoy you. And they will not help you grow the way you need to grow. So the first thing first, Kat, is your home gridded and is your home saged and gridded? I did put the link in last week, so I can pop the link in this week's again to show you how to actually cleanse and grid your home, because it's so important. It helps with sleeping, any spiritual work whatsoever. If you're doing readings, if you're doing healings, anything like that, your space must be protected. Otherwise, you get the riffraff coming in. It's a bit like walking on a summer's day or a summer's evening with no insect repellent on, all the mosquitoes come out and they want to bite you. So when your space is protected, you won't get bitten. So that's my first question for you. Is your home saged and gridded? Whom are you needing to bring in? When you're asking for the ones to come in, like who are you needing to bring in, it's more about what it is you wanting to work with. So when I'm doing a healing, I'll ask for different ones to come in differently than doing a reading. When I'm doing a healing that's an energy healing, I'll ask for different ones to come in as opposed to doing a Reiki healing. So it depends on what you're wanting to achieve as to who you ask for to come to you. So that also being said is you have the right, if you're feeling like the ones that are around you are not doing their job, yeah, because their job is there to help you, support you, guide you, lead you, help you. If they're not doing that, you have the right to tell them to hit the high road, okay? You also have the right to ask them whether you can hear them or feel them or understand them or not have any idea how to communicate with them. You can still ask them that they're not doing their job, and you can ask them if they can actually do their job better by very specifically letting them know what you're needing. If they're able to, they will adjust the way they're doing stuff in order to help you. If they're not able to help you in that respect, you've asked them to leave and you'll actually get new ones in. Okay? Some guides on the other side are also learning. It's very much like I see it like a school of the spiritual world. All of them come in on different levels, and they've all got different things to learn and to do. Some of them don't have the capacity to do what you're needing them to do, or where you're growing. So say you've got a new job, they know nothing about that job, they don't understand about that job, so they'll go, okay, this is where I've got to hop off, and somebody else will come in and you'll have a new guide to actually help you do that job. So I would say, Kat, I'd be looking at what it is you're actually wanting to do. I'd actually be asking them if they're able to do that, and if they're not able to do it, I'd be asking them to leave and actually calling in the right one that's going to support you and help you do what you're needing to do. How do you know if you, because one of your questions is how do you know if you've got the right ones working with you? It's a feeling that you'll know, and things will start going right. So things will start working, things will start making sense. You will start having ideas of ways to action what you're wanting to do, and things just start to flow. If things are not flowing and everything just keeps stopping and blocking and not moving forward, it's usually meaning that you've actually had somebody around you that's not helping you, or that they don't know how to help you, which I feel like is more the case. It feels like, and as I said, I know last time we spoke, there was a lot of changes that you're navigating through. And sometimes when we call in help to navigate through changes, what happens is the guides come to you and they don't realize that it's time for them to leave. Some of them don't want to leave too. I mean, if they've been with you for a couple of years, even like 30 years, like my great grandmother walked with me for 30 years. And when it was time for her to leave, she cried on the other side. I could hear her every single day, like crying because she knew it was time for her to leave. And that was like making me emotional. And I was like overly emotional, going, I can't be emotional to work. But I could feel her just like so upset because she had to leave. But she knew that her next job was time. And she also knew that being a relative hanging around me and actually supporting me and guiding me was no longer going to benefit me, because I needed some more spiritual help. But she cried for 3 days, so it can actually be, sometimes they don't want to leave and sometimes they get a little bit stuck with you. But it's really about taking control of what you're wanting and what your true desire is, of what you're desiring, and asking for the help to come in with that. As I said, you'll know you get it because things will just start working. Kind of, she goes, plus, how do you know that they're doing the work for you that you asked? Like, I know you'll see a feather or something. So the other side of working with guides too is everybody has their own spiritual ability. So some people hear, some people see, some people feel, some people know. Some people's abilities are stronger, like with hearing, they can work the rest of it, but the hearing's more stronger. It's the same with the guides on the other side. If they were alive and they had spiritual abilities, gifts of hearing, that's how they try to communicate with you on the other side. If their spiritual gifts were seeing, they'll show you images, like, I don't know, all of a sudden you'll be guided to see a movie, or you're looking at a bookshelf and one book is like, whoa, really brighter than the other books, and you can go and take that book out and a number might pop into your head and it'd be like, say, page 64, and all of a sudden you go to page 64 and you're looking at it and there'll be one particular paragraph that will stand out, and you'll read that paragraph and you'll go, whoa, that makes so much sense. So depending on their gifts is how they communicate with you. So you can also, if you know what your gifts are, so I know that you feel a lot, you can ask for ones to come with you that will actually be feelers, so you can actually communicate through feeling. But as I said, you know the ones that are the right ones with you is because things start going right. People are automatically attracted to you. People ask you questions for guidance. The car works right, the finances work right, the house works right, the kids work right. Things just flow a little bit easier for you when you've got the right ones with you. Just want to make sure that I've covered. That was the other thing that popped into my head too, was the universe and the spiritual world give you the tools in order to take action. I know it's popped up a couple of times, and this jokey thing pops into my head, that there was a guy in the middle of the ocean and his boat capsized, and he was very religious, and he was like, okay, I'm going to pray and Jesus is going to save me. I'm going to pray and Jesus is going to save me. And anyway, this big cruise liner comes along and they're like, mate, jump in, jump in, jump in. And he's like, no, Jesus is going to save me. And the cruise liner's like, okay. So they keep on going. And this happened 3 times. The 3 cruise liners come and actually went, mate, jump in. You're going to die if you stay here. He's like, no, Jesus is going to save me. Anyway, he dies. And he goes up and he's talking to God. And he goes to God, why didn't you save me? And Jesus turns around and goes, I gave you the tools. And he goes, I sent you 3 boats. I sent you 3 boats to help you. And I gave you the tools to look after yourself. It's exactly like the spiritual world. Even if you're not religious, I come from a very religious background. It was a big thing to get into what I'm doing now and actually trust my spiritual gifts. But it is exactly the same thing. The universe and the guides will give you the tools by going and learning from somebody the tools that you're needing in order to look after yourself, in order to move forward to where you need to be. And the guides and the angels will come and actually support you when you actually choose to take action to what your true choice is. Okay, so you're going to get the tools, or you have the tools to create that step forward. You've just got to choose to do it and trust that they're there to support you. Hope that helps, Kat. Just want to make sure that I've covered everyone, because I'm aware I'm getting the push. They're so funny when it's like getting time up. Hi Julie, I would like to know if there's a message from my mum today. It's her 2nd birthday without her and I really miss her today. Hi Sarah, thank you so much for your message. Oh my goodness, it's so hard when we lose such a loved one. I know that we've just had a few anniversaries come up with people that 2nd anniversaries too of people that we have lost, and it's hard. Like it's really hard when you've lost somebody that's been so close to you and that you've loved dearly. The other thing I want to say, Sarah, is you can't put a time limit on healing. Yeah, you can't put a time limit on making yourself feel better. You can do little steps to help yourself to move through that, but you can't put a time limit on it. It's about looking after yourself and trusting that you can trusting that you can look after yourself is really what it is. So I just want to check in with mum. So what I found too is working with the spiritual world is sometimes they actually present themselves, like the person that's actually crossed over, the loved one will actually present to themselves and they'll like show up and be right there. Other times they don't present themselves, yet my guides, they give me the information about that person, with what's going on for them and where they're at. So Sarah, I can't see your mum here today with me. Why would she be with me when she's actually with you? It feels like she's it feels like she's only recently, like I'm talking probably within this sort of for you timeline, 6 to 8 months, connected back in with you. Feels like it took her a little bit to find you and the family. It felt like that she had to go on her own little spiritual journey on the other side, but it feels like for the last sort of 6 to 8 months, you've been feeling her, or she's been actually connecting around you and with you. I know there's been a few ups and downs that are happening in your life over the last 6 months that you've needed that little bit of extra support. It feels like you've called her in as well. Mum's doing okay. She tends to be a little bit of a worrier. So she worries about you to make sure that you're happy. But she also knows too that you've got the ability to do this. It feels like she was a big cheerleader of you, and whatever you needed, she helped you through that, and she was that big supporter of you. Mum's doing well, as I said. It seems like she's been around you for the last 6 to 8 months. Messages for you. She's saying to keep going, and that you've got to start really looking after you. That as I said, the ups and downs and the challenges that you've been going through, they will pass. Looking at them in 5 years time, they'll just look like a grain of sand on a beach, and you won't even notice it. So just keep going. She says just to keep going. It feels like there's some kind of family squabbles or family family stuff that's gone on, like family crap that's gone on between your family. She's saying also that'll actually work out in due time. It feels like this year's a big upheaval for family with you guys, and that's one of the reasons why she's come back too, is also to help you out with that as well. Um, but she's doing okay now. Like as I said, the before 6 to 8 months ago, she was doing her own spiritual stuff on the other side. I don't feel like you maybe would have felt her around you very much, or connected in with her. But it feels like, yeah, she's definitely with you today. As I said, why would she be with me when she wants to be with the family? But it feels like you've just got to keep going, and whatever the challenges are and stuff like that, they'll actually work through. You've just got to keep going. And I so understand that you'd be missing her so much today. My suggestion would be to, light a candle and have a little bit of a chat with her. Or, you know what I really love? I love actually going and getting a new plant and actually planting a new plant in the honor of your mum. And that way you can actually talk to the plant, and you know your mum's around and she's talking to you as well. I think planting new life is a beautiful way to love and honor when you've actually lost somebody. So I really hope that helps, Sarah. And I'm sending you so much love and big squishy cuddles, because I know what it's like when you've lost somebody and you're going through an anniversary. And I'm sending you much love with that. So, my darlings, I am getting the push to pop off now. I hope you've enjoyed today as well. If you want to have some spiritual guidance and me answer some questions for you, you can pop your questions to Q&A, that's ANDA, at HappinessHeals.com.au, or you can send me a PM, which is what Sarah's done, or you can leave a comment and I'll get back to you as well. I'm enjoying doing these. I'm hoping you're enjoying them doing too. I'm hearing from people that you are loving them. Makes me feel kind of good that you are. And if there's anyone that needs help or would actually like a reading or needs some healing, I'm more than actually happy to help out with that as well. I wish you a beautiful week. If you're in Melbourne, enjoy the sunshine. I'm kind of hoping I get to go for a bit of a motorbike ride this afternoon. I'm hoping to squeeze that in because I love it. And I hope everyone's staying safe. I'm loving people coming back into the shop. It's so beautiful to see people again, even if it's like an energetic squishy hug. And I hope everybody keeps safe, and I will see you soon. Bye.